Bambi The Reckoning is directed by Dan Allen, and this is the fourth entry in the Twisted Childhood universe, or the Pooniverse as it's called. The film follows a mother and a son who survived after a fateful car crash. It's not until they've been hunted down by a mutated grief deer called Bambi, who's on a deadly rampage seeking revenge on his mother's death. So this is the fourth film in this franchise, or this universe, the Twisted Childhood universe, whatever you want to call it. Well, it's not been an easy ride. If you've been following me for quite some time, I'm not the biggest fan of this franchise, so far at least. I was not impressed. Well, in a certain degree, maybe one of them I was kind of interested in, but not as much. I'll give you the rundown. You want to check my thoughts, check out my reviews on them if you want to check them out if you want to. I was so negative each one of them. Well, maybe not all of them. Maybe I was being kinder to most of them, but most of it I just wasn't a fan of. Way They Put Blood and Honey, did not like. I absolutely hated that film, and it's one of the worst films of that film of the year from 2023. I absolutely hated it. Blood and Honey 2 is slight improvement over the first one. It has better acting, it has better stuff going for it, but unfortunately the execution and it's left to be desired in certain areas. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare is definitely a better film overall, but still not saying much. It still could have a lot better in certain areas of the script. So going into this one, I was very, just go in what I'm going to expect from this movie. And it's more or less the same how I felt about it, like the previous ones. I would say I think it's on the same level as Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. It's some enjoyable moments. There are some cool kills. There are some decent stuff going for it. But other than that, it's just the same. Been there, done that. Some homages they actually paid or taken inspiration from, which is, this film is basically taking inspiration from Jurassic Park, which definitely a heavy influence this movie, which I will admit there are some certain shots, certain scenery, especially the mother trying to kick the car window down, which basically is a reference to Jurassic Park or something, which I think it's the first one or maybe it's the second one, I can't remember. The scene where they try to smash the window in because when Bambi comes along trying to kill them all, it's pretty much what we've seen before. And as far as the acting, I would say the acting for the most part is good. I think the actors did their best, but the biggest problem I have with this film is the characters. I just did not care for each one of them. Whenever they appear on screen, I just didn't feel any emotions. They're just very annoying, really just there for the most part. They don't really have much, character growth in the film. You do get a certain stuff between Roxanne McKee's character, I think it's Zanya or whatever the character's name is. Sorry, I can't even pronounce the character's name, but Roxanne McKee did her best, but her character though wasn't fleshed out as much as I was hoping for. Especially her relationship with her son, which I will admit, the kid who plays Benji, I think that's the character's name, he was decent, I would say. He definitely gave a good performance. There were a couple of times he does show a bit of emotions in certain aspects of it. And of course, you do have Roxanne McKee's character who is going through troubled marriage by her husband, Simon, which basically Simon's a bit of a dick in this film. We don't see much. We do get a certain backstuff about him, what he's doing, or why he's part of this group of hunters, which the three hunters in the film are just there to hunt down Bambi, and they also captured Bambi's baby Thor deer, who's basically the son, I think, or daughter, or whatever it is. Never say what it is, but it's basically Bambi's child has been taken by them. Bambi's on the rampage, trying to find her own child and also take revenge on those who basically killed his mother and the love of his life, basically. And of course you have these other characters. You have like Mary, who is the grandmother of Benji, who basically has dementia and she's kind of confused. And she kind of knows Bambi in a certain way, and she has this imagery about Bambi and she draws pictures of him, basically, which in a certain way I thought, okay, what's all there? But again, no explanation, didn't explain how that comes about. Did you know about Bambi, or does she have some connection? I don't know. It didn't explain. It does not explain at all. And most of the other characters, they get killed off. Some of the characters I will admit get killed is actually pretty entertaining, and some stupid laugh out moments. Especially one of the hunter, basically Tyler, I think is the character's name, basically accidentally shoots, and while one of the family member characters walks in the woods trying to find something for help and basically gets shot through the head and falls to his death. Which I will admit, I kind of laughed at the same time. I thought, that was kind of stupid, but it's hilariously dumb in a certain way. But that's the only part I laughed. I was like, yeah, kind of weird. And of course, you want me to just get to the best part. I will say this, Bambi himself is actually pretty decent to look at. The CGI on him, it looks pretty good. He does look very scary, looks very intimidating. And whenever I go into the woods now, if I ever see a deer like that, I would be shitting my pants right now because I would never run across that deer. Never in my life. Never I will. There are a couple of shots, it does look a bit noticeable with the CGI, especially when she's trying to go after this female character in this hut or some house. Basically trying to break down the door, and you do see the bit of the CGI does look a bit pretty bad in certain areas. Most of the CGI is good. I will say this, the CGI on Bambi and of course the rabbits, which I will say that the rabbits, not in the movie that much, but you do see them. It basically killed off one of the characters. I kind of get that compy scene in Jurassic Park, The Lost World, or The Lost World Jurassic Park, when a certain character gets killed by these compies, the little green dinosaurs, which it kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of like heavy influence from it. When I saw that, I went, yeah, I would never come across these rabbits ever again. Oh my god. Again, just like Bambi, I'll never look at rabbits the same way. As far as the editing is fine. Dan Allen did the editing. He did it in the past editing with certain movies, especially with this one. He also directed. I will say his directing style is actually pretty decent. The cinematography wise and certain shots does look actually pretty decent to look at. It's certain imagery and certain angles and camera shots and some attention behind it, which I can see there, but the way it's certain shots and there's certain running, especially when Bambi runs in the woods and you see the CGI elements, it does look a bit iffy for the most part, which is basically a low budget because we have a low budget. I know we want big budget for certain CGI films, but when you look at, for example, I've never seen the movie, but for example, being Godzilla -1, which look at that CGI, that's made it a low budget, but look at the CGI on that movie alone. That looks 10 times better than this movie alone right here. As far as the CGI, like I said, it's not too bad to look at. There are certain shots that does look pretty seamless, but most of it just looks very unfinished and not that convincing in certain areas. And I don't want to drag on this. I don't want to start meditation rant. This is the 4th entry. And so far, none of these movies, from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, and this, Bambi the Reckoning, has not left an impact on me. It just shows that this film, or this franchise, is just completely dead in my eyes, or maybe they could at least... I want to see where it goes, but the way this film is made, it's just made with, like, let's just make a public domain characters and turn into horror films. Now, I'm not against horror turning childhood characters into horror movies, which I'm not against that. I'm all for it. As long as the writing is good and the characters are well established and well written. And certain kills, if I just have to see the kills, that's what I'm mostly there for, is to see the kills. The kills in there are pretty cool. Not as big or creative compared to, you know, Blood and Honey movies or even, to a certain degree, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. But doesn't really give you much. There are a couple of shock values in here and there, but there's not much big and bombastic about it. That being said, Bambi the Reckoning, it's just another take it or leave it entry for this franchise or this universe, whatever you want to call it. I just didn't care for this film. I didn't hate it as I thought I would. It's just another take it or just leave it entry. If you like this movie, if you're a fan of the Twisted Childhood universe so far, if you love Blood and Honey movies and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, if you're going to love this film, I would say go and see it if you want to. If you just want to see the kills, if you just want to watch this film and have a good time, you get what your money deserves. You got your money. Go and see it if you want to. But if you're not, then don't waste your time on this. I don't hate it as I thought I would. It's just another dull, lifeless, uninspired, born entry of this Twitch House universe. Yeah, enough said. I'm going to give Bambi the Reckoning a C-. Guys, comment down below and tell me, what do you think of Bambi the Reckoning? Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you think it's alright? Or do you absolutely hate it? Whatever the case is, comment down below and tell me what you think. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya!